Hey, Nikki Brown here. No matter where you are, I'm a part of the world you're in. I hope that you're having a good day. One of the things that I realized, which I didn't just realize it now, but one of the things I realized is people hear what they want to hear, right? We all have all heard that saying, selective hearing, right? People have selective hearing, and they say they have selective memory. So they remember what they want to remember. And a lot of times, somebody may have a situation where they've done something, someone saw them, but in their mind, they make it up that someone must have told on them when really they told on themselves, right? Or you'll come up with a scenario, you'll give a solution, but because that solution does not line up with what they think should be done, they completely dismiss it or don't hear it at all, right? Because you're not saying what they want you to say. And it's just very interesting in dealing with people. Um, it's like they'll do or say things to try to push your buttons when in reality they're just annoying and aggravating themselves and causing dis-ease in their own body, right? There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, right? There's also charts that say, okay, if you're dealing with fear and anxiety, this part of the body is associated with it, or the left side, like the left side of the body is associated with masculine energy. So anything masculine, like speaking up for yourself. Um, if you are constantly in situations where you feel like you have to bite your tongue, you will start to experience pain on the left side of your body. Obviously, the opposite is true for the right side, which is the feminine side, right? Because everybody's supposed to be a balance of masculine and feminine energy. No one should be too emotional. No one should be too logical. There should be a balance, right? There are a lot of women who are masculine, and there are a lot of men who are feminine. People like to say, "Oh, men do this or women do that," but no, people do or say different things, regardless of. And these could be heterosexual. This is not about sexual preference. That's not what I'm talking about, right? There are some men who do things that quote unquote are more feminine or quote unquote that traditionally women would do, and there are some women who would do things that traditionally men would do or that are considered masculine. Like, for example, a woman may not be a crier, right? There are some women, when something goes wrong, they instantly start crying. There are some women who they just find a solution just like a man would, right? There are some men who are very even keeled and mild mannered, and again, think more logically and look for solutions. Where there are some men who are going to yell and scream and, get annoyed. Again, more feminine, like a female would, or what traditionally a woman would do. Doesn't mean he's not masculine. It just means his response is not as masculine in nature as it could be, right? I'm not even going to say should be, it could be. And her response is not as feminine in nature as it could be. Because again, everybody doesn't sit and cry and say, woe was me, or, what am I going to do? Or I need somebody to do this for me. Some people actually, some women actually think of solutions on their own. And for some people, that's considered masculine. Um, Along with speaking up for yourself. Again, a male or a female could just be quiet and just sit back and allow things to happen. But if they're wanting to say something on the inside, it's eating away at them and causing dis-ease, right? So people, a lot of times, something will happen, and instead of them saying what they mean or meaning what they say, or asking, like, "Oh, did this happen? Was this said? Or what did you mean by that?" or whatever it is that they want to know, they become passive aggressive and they say little slick things or they do little slick things because they're trying to now be spiteful and vindictive and vengeful, as if they're hurting the person that they're directing this energy towards, when in reality it's doing more harm to them than it is to the person that they're directing this energy towards, right? I just felt the need to say some of these things. They're kind of different topics, but at the same time, the end result can still be dis-ease in the body because we're not meant to operate this way, right? We're not meant to assume, right? Again, somebody could get caught with their pants down by somebody else and they'll swear up and down that someone else must have told. When right there in their face is the reality that, oh, I got caught doing this thing. Let me be accountable and responsible for my actions. Rather than do that, most people are not going to be accountable and responsible. They're going to blame it on someone or something else. So that when you do come across those people who are accountable and responsible and will own up to what they said or did, people don't know how to deal with those people because that's not most people's reality. They're used to people who are dishonest, who will lie, who will cover up, make excuses for, and justify the foolishness that they're doing or saying that they know is not right. We have to forgive ourselves and we have to forgive others, and then we have to make a conscious effort to make change, right? Because the only way it's going to change is if a person decides to. Most people don't decide to until something major happens, if they ever decide to at all. A lot of people follow the patterns that they've seen portrayed in their own life. And so, again, instead of being accountable and responsible, they'll project their thoughts, feelings, and emotions onto someone else. This is basically gaslighting at its best. And a lot of it's become so normalized that a lot of people don't even realize they're doing it. And when you're someone who's very spiritual and you always step on the outside and you're looking into situations, you see these behaviors. It's almost like you're inside of a video game. Some of the things may make you laugh. Some of them may be a little upsetting even. But again, you know you can't attach yourself to it personally, because really it doesn't have anything to do with you and everything to do with them, and to a point where sometimes you feel sorry for them because people don't even realize who they are and how they show up. They think they know who they are, right? They even think they love themselves. But you don't project hate, animosity, resentment, and spite onto anyone else if you understand who you are and you actually love yourself. You don't do that. You operate from a space of integrity. Period. You always tell the truth. You're always willing to tell the truth. Unless there's a life or death situation, um, or something dire, right? But, most situations aren't life or death, right? They're not dire. Now, you may, um, if you do something that you shouldn't do, someone may say something to you or call you out. That's not dire. Put your big drawers on and take it. Accept the responsibility and be accountable for your actions, your ways, thoughts, deeds, and actions. It's not anyone else's fault. No one else did anything to you. If you did something that you weren't supposed to do and someone says something to you, You just should be accountable and responsible instead of trying to blame it on someone else. Period. That's maturity. Right? Again, that's operating from an accountable and responsible way. And that's it. You know, I'm from New Jersey, and a lot of times if somebody doesn't like you, they just won't deal with you. But, you know, when you go into other environments, people operate in a place where they will pretend or they'll smile in your face. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to smile in anyone else's face. If you don't like just someone, just stay out of their way. You don't have to like everyone that you come in contact with. But think about the reason you don't like that person. Does it have everything to do with them or everything to do with you? I'm going to say that 9 times out of 10, it has everything to do with you because you something inside of that person that you see that makes you feel insecure, that makes you feel jealous. That's not that person's fault. That means you need to work on you instead of worrying about what they're doing or saying because it has nothing to do with you. It just makes you feel some kind of way. And so that's your a problem. That's something you need to work on. And as I say in most of my videos like this, go to therapy, get a life coach. You need to figure out how to heal from these situations. Because not being accountable and responsible and wanting to constantly blame other people is not the answer. As always, love y'all. Mwah.